Alright, well today we're going to talk about mean, median, and mode. So let's get started with a vocab time. The first word we're going to define is the word mean. It does not mean that you're angry with somebody or you're mistreating them. Mean is the sum of the data values divided by the number of data values. So mean is the sum of the data values divided by the number of data values. And we'll go over an example of mean on the next slide. The next we're going to talk about is the word median. The median is the middle number when the data values are written in order of least to greatest. So we order all the numbers from least to greatest, and we figure out which number is in the middle. That's my median. Then we have mode. It's the data item that occurs most often. So you have the most and mode. Finally, we have the range. The range is the difference between the greatest and least values in the set. So it's the difference between the greatest and least. So it's the greatest minus the least. That gives me the range. Alright, well let's find the mean, median, and mode of the range and the range of the following numbers. 2.3, 4.3, 3.2, 2.9, 2.7, and 2.3. Well, the first thing we want to do is let's find the mean. So what we're going to do is we're going to add all of our numbers together and then divide it by the total numbers that we have. So to find the mean, I'm going to add 2.3 plus 4.3 plus 3.2 plus 2.9 plus 2.7 plus 2.3. So I'm going to add all these together and see what I get. Well, 3 plus 3, that's 6, 7, 8. 8 plus 9 is 17. 17 plus 7 is 24. And 4 plus 3 is 27. We're going to carry that 2. Drop the decimal point. 2, 4, 8, 11, 13, 15, 17. So if we add them all together, we get 17.7. Now what I do is I divide it by the number of data values that we have. So we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So I'm going to divide it by the 6 because that's how many numbers we have. Oh, and this is 17.7. So 6 divided by 17.7, that can go in twice. Raise that decimal point. That gives us 12, 5, 57. That can go in 9 times. That's 54. 3, drop the 0, and that can go in 5 times. So the mean that we have is 2.95. 2.95 is the mean. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to erase all this, and then we're going to go over median, mode, and range. So 2.95 is my mean. Let's look at median. When we talk about median, mode, and range, it's actually easiest to list our numbers from least to greatest. So let's go ahead and do that. Our lowest number is 2.3, and we have that one twice. Then we have 2.7, 2.9, 3.2, and 4.3. So my median, remember, is my middle number. So what I do is I start on the outside and I kind of cross one number off at a time. So 2.3, 4.3, 2.3, 3.2. And we're left with 2 numbers in the middle. If I have just one number left in the middle, then that's my number. So if I had a number between these two, if I had like a 2.8, that would be my median. But I don't. So I have to take the mean of these two numbers. So I had 2.7 plus 2.9, and that's 5.6. Since I had 2 different values, I take 5.6 divided by 2, and that is 2.8. So 2.8 is my median. Let's figure out my mode. My mode is the one that occurs most often. So 2.3 I have listed twice. 2.7 just once for 2.9, once for 3.2, and once for 4.3. So I have 2.3 twice. That's the most often I have a number. So my mode is 2.3. Now let's look at my range. My range is the difference between my greatest and my least. Well, my greatest value is 4.3. My least value is 2.3. So I subtract them, and I get 2.0. So 2.0 is my range. So there's all the 4 different values right there. If you have any trouble remembering how we can compute them, just rewind the video and check that out. Alright, one thing I want to do is talk a little bit more about finding mode specifically. So let's look at this problem and see what the mode is. We have $1.50, $2, $2.25, $2.40, $3.50, and $4. You can see that we have no number more than once. When that's the case, we have no mode. Alright, there's no mode when we don't have a number more than once. Let's look at a different example. How about if we have 2, 3, 6, 8, 8, 10, 11, 12, 14, 14, 18, and 20. We can see here that we have 8 twice and we have 14 twice. That means in that case, 8 and 14 are both my modes. Those are both my modes. How about this last example here? Alright. Let's erase all that ink. Alright, so we have 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 7, and 8. This is the most common case. This is when we have one number more than any other number. Alright, and that's in this case 7. And so my mode is just 7. That's like the last example. Well, let's talk about choosing the best measure of tendencies. Before we do that, we should talk about outliers. And what are outliers? Outliers are the cases that don't match the other ones. So it's either a number that's way higher than the rest or way lower than the rest. And when sometimes we have to throw those out, or sometimes we take those into effect to see which measure of tendency do we want to use. The outliers most affect the mean. They do not affect the median or the mode as often, but they affect the mean and oftentimes the range. So see if you can find the outlier here. We have 9, 10, 12, 13, 8, 9, and 31. What is our outlier? Hopefully you see that 31 is the outlier. All these are really close to 10 or 11, but 31 is way higher than the rest. Next problem. 1, 17.5, 18, 19.5, 16, and 17.5. Hopefully here you can see that 1 is my outlier. It's much lower than the rest of them. So we have to decide, when we have outliers, is it better to throw it out and compute a mean or a median, or is it better to keep it in and pick maybe not the mean and pick the median or the mode? Let's talk about choosing the best measure of tendency. So let's go over 3 examples and figure out what's the best measure of tendency, mean, median, or mode. The first is the favorite movie of students in the 7th grade. What would be the best measure of tendency? Well, the mode would be the best measure of tendency in this case, because we can't measure the mean of a movie title or the median of a movie title, but we can figure out which one happens most often. And so that's why the mode would be the best. In cases like these, and when you do problems like these, write down why you think that measure of tendency is the best, and that way you can have credit for those types of answers. How about the daily high temperatures during a week in July? Well, one good thing here would be a mean. In a week inside the summer, we don't expect any temperatures to be 20 degrees higher one day than any other day of the week. And so a mean is a good measure of tendency when we don't have outliers. But when we do have outliers, mean is not a good measure of tendency. Last one, the distances students travel to school. The median would probably be the best one here because there could be outliers in this situation. Either students could live really close to school or a couple students could live really far from school, so you have those outliers. And whenever you have outliers, oftentimes the median is the best measure of tendency. Well, hopefully all this made sense. If not, again, I'm available for questions just as always. So have a good evening, and I'll see you later.